Chongyun has been the character in the game since the very beginning, and yet very few players utilize him in Abyss. In this video, I plan on making him a main DPS, with some focus on dragon striking to take on floor 12. Before I go into the playstyle I'm using for Chongyun, let's talk about his kit. Chongyun is the only character in the game that allows any sword, claymore, or polearm character to infuse their attacks with cryo as of recording this video. His skill applies this effect to anyone within the skill's AoE, and if you have C2, reduces the cooldown of all abilities cast within it by 15%. This is actually one of the main reasons why he was used in the original national team, as the cooldown reduction resulted in faster rotations. His burst and normal attack string aren't too special, though the last hit in his normal attack string does release 3 separate cryo attacks, and his burst does a large amount of damage in the right setting. C6 also heavily boosts this damage. Kit-wise, you would take a look at this and think he would be best utilized as a sub-DPS/support. One of my friends, Zeriko, actually utilized him in this manner in a team he called Kazusu, where he tried to stack as many CDR effects as possible. Seeing how this team already had Anima Resonance, I decided to start team building from here first, as Anima Resonance was important for me to have, because I wanted to have the movement speed necessary to Dragon Strike. So, what is Dragon Striking? I explained this in the Noelle DPS video I made a few months ago, but for those of you that didn't watch that, here's the overall summary. Dragon Striking utilizes the hit lag generated from hitting enemies with an attack to freeze the momentum values of your character briefly. This allows you to jump and move more than you would be able to in a normal setting. Properly timing a dash jump within this window allows you to pull off a plunging attack. Not all attacks are able to generate hit lag, and so many characters aren't able to actually pull this technique off. Claymore characters are by far the easiest characters to pull this off with, as they have longer hit lag windows after their normal attack than most other characters in the game. But Tars, there's already a character in the game that allows any character to perform plunging attacks, regardless of the enemy they're facing or the setting they're in. And yes, I'm aware. I don't care. You can take your training wheels somewhere else. Jokes aside though, Chongyun does make this significantly easier to do and gives you more damage while doing it, so if you want to do what I do in this video without all the practice, then go for it. Practicing Dragon Strike just gives me another reason to keep playing this game, which is why I do it. Alright, so let's go back to the team building aspect of this. Fundamentally, my idea of using Chongyun to Dragon Strike clashes directly with the intended team comp of Kazusu. As you may have guessed from the name, Kazuha is intended to have most of the on-field time, utilizing the lower cooldowns to deal as much damage from his skills and burst as possible. This team is actually one of the fastest quick swap teams you can actually make in the game, having a 12-second rotation, or lower depending on how you want to adjust the overall timing. So, if you're supposed to spend time swapping, turns out you don't have time to actually Dragon Strike, and you lose out on a lot of damage as a result. That said, there are 3 things I really liked about this team that aided Chongyun's damage: attack bonuses from Bennett, EM bonuses from Sucrose, and the potential reverse melt damage from Pyro access. Now the question is, can you form that into a cohesive team that encourages on-field time for Chongyun while also having the movement speed necessary for him to Dragon Strike? I found that my solution involved a certain character I had built for another video a long time ago.
Flashback.
Rip Jhin. I promise to utilize you properly in the future. I promise.
End of flashback.
I told you all I would use her eventually. Say hello to Jhin, everyone. If you didn't know, Jhin C2 not only gives movement speed, but also attack speed upon orb collection, making it possible to get Chongyun to Dragon Strike without needing Anima Resonance. I could activate her C4, but honestly I like the red exclamation mark that appears on her character icon. Plus, Jhin and Bennett also have a really cool interaction the community dubbed Sunfire. Jhin's ult cleanses elemental infliction off of your character, or active character, I should say, while Bennett does the opposite, applying Pyro onto your active character. This interaction creates a Pyro swirl on your character, which then can apply to any enemy around you. I also decided to pair up Nahida with this as well because, well, with a Burning Melt comp, I can actually extend the Pyro aura timing and also provide good EM buffs because Nahida provides a lot of EM. The final team involved giving my enemies sunburn and reverse melting a plunging claymore on top of that. Kinda painful if you ask me. So then what about artifacts? Turns out I don't really have the optimal pieces for this. The best set for Chongyun in this case was Unfinished Reverie, but I had never farmed that domain nor planned to. As an alternative, I thought about using 4-piece Shim due to its 4-piece set bonus, which can buff your plunging attack by 50%. But there's just one issue. I don't have a good full set of Shim. So I just decided to send 2-piece Blizzard Strayer, 2-piece attack. It's not the best thing, obviously, you can put on him, but it would be good enough. Nahida was running 4-piece Deepwood since her damage was non-negligible, and I really didn't have more synergistic sets for her. Bennett was on a 4-piece Noblesse, but Jhin is where it gets a little more interesting build-wise. Now, one might think naively that Viridescent is the answer. I mean, you can reduce enemies' resistances by 40%. That's like, by default, good. The problem with this is, if you notice my team, there's no other cryo character. VV's activation window is only 8 seconds, and, well, in order for me to actually use VV, I would have to sack Chongyun's burst or skill in order for Jhin to then shred it and then somehow make through the rest of my rotation in time for him to take advantage of the shred, which is a little bit impractical. So what was the solution? Was there a better 5-star artifact set that she could use to better boost the team's damage? Well, most of the current 5-star artifact sets don't really aid Chongyun's damage, and Noblesse's effect doesn't stack. Songs of Days Past might have been viable, but the overall damage increase is rather minimal. But what about 4-star artifacts? Some players may have different opinions on this, but I personally think that Exile and Instructor sets are some of the most useful sets in the game. Despite their obvious damage shortcomings due to the fact that they were 4-star artifacts and not 5-star artifacts, which means their base stats are different, their effects are extremely powerful. Exile just gives you straight up 18 energy spread across 3 team members for free. The Instructor set also just gives you 120 EM to all party members after triggering Elemental Reaction. And, well, the Instructor set is the choice I ended up going with. If you have party members that are just there for supporting capabilities in their own kits alone, I highly recommend trying out one of these 2 sets, as it can significantly increase their supportive strength. Finally, one last equipment requirement to look at were weapons. I tested 2 main options for Chongyun, being Wolf's Gravestone and Mailed Flower. I actually leveled Mailed Flower to do this test, thinking that it would be the best out of the 2 options. The thing is, I actually have better EM Sands than Attack Sands crit-wise, so even though Wolf's Gravestone is just an attack stat stick for all intents and purposes with nothing else really going for it, it still performed better than Mailed Flower with the stats I had. I really should have also tried Redhorn, but I was initially considering Noelle for the other Abyss half, though I never ended up using her, which is why I didn't test it. Ignore the 20% level 20 Claymore. Ignore that. And so with a few more weapon sets on the rest of my team, I was ready. To train, that is. Dragon Strike timing significantly varies based on character and enemy. So although I had experience with Noelle, I still needed some practice with Chongyun.
A touch of frost. Submit for judgment. You've made some progress. Not bad. You've got a trick or 2. My blade. Strike dead. Can't underestimate my enemy. My blade.
Committed to memory, the Temple of Wisdom.
Spirit Blade. Attack! A touch of frost.
Finally, I was ready. Maybe. Oh, okay, look, it's still hard to perform this 100% of the time with Chongyun, and well, yeah, it's rough. Even so, I think I should be overall at least capable of 9 starting floor 12. So let's do this. Now, at this point, you might expect me to just play out the Abyss run and wrap up the video. Not this time, mainly because of some of the strategy I needed to actually utilize this comp in this particular Abyss. Looking at the different enemy types, I decided to place Chongyun on the first half and an Overload Cheverus comp on the second. This is because dealing with a Hydro enemy and the bosses in the second half weren't necessarily the easiest thing to deal with for Chongyun in my experience. One immediate problem comes up, and that is the lack of a good grouping character. Even though a multi-target scenario actually allows Chongyun to deal a lot more damage, the AoE of any damage he can actually deal is rather small. As a result, manipulating the enemy AI becomes imperative, and for the first chamber, this wasn't too bad at first with the Samurai. Oh, but the Fatui agents that follow are much worse. Oh, particularly the Pyro Gunner. I don't know who the hell decided that putting this guy was a good idea, but the fact he immediately puts up his shield is really annoying. Obviously, if I had Hydro, it wouldn't be as bad, but you can clearly see my team does not have Hydro. So, yeah. Plus, he can instantly regain poise if you hit him with the wrong ability at the wrong time. Because of the way his shield works, preventing him from getting it up in the first place is a must, because otherwise, I am not completing this chamber. With all of this in mind, I practiced over and over, sometimes failing at the simplest of things. You actually need the healing. Yeah, not great. But eventually I got it.
Share my knowledge. Everybody stand back. Wait, hear me.
Spirit Blade. Attack!
Adventure time. Going in. I swear by my sword. Committed to memory, the Temple of Wisdom. Let's play. Teamwork is dreamwork.
From whence you came, forth my blade.
Grow. Let's light it up. Wind, hear me. Go in. Committed to memory. Make yourselves at home.
One with my blade. Spirit Blade. Attack!
Teamwork is strength. I swear by my sword. Grow. The Temple of Wisdom.
Swift and merciful. From whence you came.
Hands right, see ya. Stop right there. Inazuma shines eternal.
Your coming was foretold. Where the eternal oasis.
Justice will prevail. Final warning.
Bloom as a flowers in Gourmand.
Flying toast. Torn to oblivion.
The eternal oasis.
There is no escape. Hands where I can see 'em. Stop right there.
Midnight phantasm.
Eat this. Now you shall perish. Erase all breaths. You win.
That's one chamber down. 2 more to go. So they have further annoyances for Chongyun. Really massive hitboxes. An issue that can come up with Dragon Strike is when you get roofed by the enemy's hitbox. For some bosses, their hitbox goes outward as you go upward on their model, and as a result, your character's hitbox might collide with the bosses on the way up, preventing you from getting the height necessary to actually conduct a plunging attack. Bugs Bunny has a good illustration of this concept.
Well, what you know about that? Now, who you suppose put that anvil up there?
So, how are you supposed to get around this issue? Well, you actually can control the direction your Dragon Strike goes. By inputting directional keys at the same time when you dash, you can have your character jump in that specific direction, allowing you to be in a more advantageous position to plunge. However, the margin for error increases, and I haven't practiced directional Dragon Strike enough on Chongyun to really be proficient at it. Well, we'll make it work.
Teamwork is dreamwork. I swear by my sword.
Spirit blade. Attack. Forth my blade.
Committed to memory. Make yourself a move. Everybody stand back. Going flat. Torpedoes. Got it.
From whence you came, a touch of frost.
Hey, sharing my knowledge. That's gonna hurt in the morning. Teamwork is dreamwork. Wait, hear me.
Submit for judgment. One with my blade.
Make yourselves a move. Let's light it up. I'm going in. I swear by my sword.
Swift and merciful. Spirit blade. Attack.
Temple of Wisdom. Committed to memory. Everybody stand.
Forth my blade. Whence you came.
Shine down. Justice will prevail. Now you shall perish. There is no escape. You asked for it. Final warning. Nice and spicy.
As you wish, Ming.
I summon thee! Torn to oblivion! Shine down! Hands where I can see 'em! Don't break the shadow, Raven! What after I can, it's the button! Inazuma shines eternal! Illusion shattered! You asked for it!
As you wish, Ming. For
Nice and spicy!
I was now 2/3 of the way there. I had already encountered pretty much every single possible issue one could have on the way to the finish line though. Adapting to this new boss's hitbox still took a bit of time to get used to, and even then I either got roofed a lot or just dash jumped way too early. This is fine. Regardless, I powered through to the end.
Temple of Wisdom! Going in! Wait, hear me!
Spirit blade. Attack. Swift and merciful.
shape.
And here are the builds I used. I still need to work on dragon striking as a whole, to be frank, especially given how many times I failed on F12 Chamber. Some final comments about the comp. You do actively burn if you stand next to the enemy inflicted with burn. And yeah, so make sure you're keeping an eye on your health if you want to try something like this. Plus, given that every character has a circle, even though Nahi does AoE is significantly larger than the other 3 characters, mobs that move around a lot are really annoying to deal with, so you'll need to be able to manipulate enemy AI as a result. Also, if you have C6 Bennett, this is one of the few comps that is actively ruined by that constellation as a result. Please, HOYO-verse, give us constellation toggle options, please.
Minute to memory. Tempo
That
of
said,
wisdom.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.